Alright, let's go for it.
You know, we know sports cards aren't all about making money, but it sure would be nice to fund our personal collection with investments. Therefore, we're looking for ways to add value to our cards. And one of the biggest ways to do that is to get them graded. And you have major companies out there that have been doing this for a very long time. And the modern day sports card market is extremely liquid for PSA 10 cards that PSA considers as pristine condition. And you have Beckett, and Beckett's BGS 9.5 or their BGS 10 black label is even more highly regarded than the PSA 10, primarily because they use subgrades on the front of their cards, and they have what most people consider as a more strict grading process. Then you have SGC, who has a stronghold in vintage cards, and they do a really good job in that, and they have a very strict process. And since those companies, since PSA could not keep up with their backlog, and you could point to a variety of reasons for that. I mean, it's a combination of things between COVID and influx of investors and collectors looking to slab their cards to add value to them, to get those PSA 10s, which are adding 5 to sometimes 10x of the value to that card. And that was a very viable flipping strategy for a lot of people, and a lot of people were very successful, made a lot of money with it. And when they had to shut down, stop accepting cards because their backlog got too big, people turned to Beckett. Well, Beckett had to shut down because their backlog got too big. And now these companies have reopened some really high-level services that cost several $100s to submit one card. And then you had SGC. SGC temporarily had to not shut down, but they had to increase their processing fee to $75 per card to thin out some of the submissions, right? You're obviously not going to submit as many cards if it's 3 times as much to get the card graded. And then there was other companies like CSG, or Certified Sports Guarantee, that has that whole collectibles backing. They do all kinds of coin grading and other comic book grading, other type of collectibles grading. So they were in the game. HGA started up using the AI assisted software where they're scanning in high resolution images of cards into the computer, using software to see how well centered, to see if there's any surface imperfections, edge imperfections, to really get a close-up view of the edges and the corners and the surface to get a good idea of a grade. And then they were making slabs that had subgrades on them and nice to look at. They had some nice eye appeal. They were color matched to the cards in the slab, which is really nice from a collectability standpoint. So fast forward to 2021, and you have more new grading companies looking at the HGA business model. And with the information that we have at our fingertips on the internet, understand you could start your own business. Why not? Why not go into business for yourself, do something that you enjoy doing, provide a value to other people, and make money doing it? And so you had new companies start up, and I think you guys might know where I'm going with this. PureGradedX was one of those companies that started up, and they were recently put on blast by Burbank Sports Cards due to a mistake that they made, in the sealing of some of their slabs. Now, was this all of their slabs? Well, stay tuned and you will find out, because I'm actually going to crack one of their slabs in this video. So let's dig in. So the card I chose to crack was a PGX 7.5, and multiple reasons why I chose to crack this one, because I noticed some minor imperfections. Yeah, I almost dropped it there. I noticed some minor imperfections in the plastic around the outside where they had sealed it. And you got to understand, they're a new company, and then definitely none of us, you PSA, BGS, none of us are immune to mistakes. But yeah, so this card, just right off the bat, a PSA 8 trades for the same as a raw card, sometimes less. So this came back as a PGX 7.5, and it had the small blemishes around the edge. No harm in me cracking this in terms of, it losing value as long as I don't damage the card here. So I'm like, let me see, is it as easy as Burbank made it look in their video that Cardporn then also picked up, which Cardporn's a great account. They share a lot of information around the hobby on a daily basis, and they picked up the video from Burbank and put it on their channel, which has a lot of followers, and it got 20,000 views on it, which is a lot of views in our hobby. And I had to see for myself. I got a ton of message. I really appreciate you guys, making me aware of it. I definitely saw it and everything. So I wanted to see how hard this was to crack myself. Was it as easy as that? Was that an isolated thing, or was it, something that all of their slabs have in common? And you can see it's very difficult. I applied quite a bit of pressure all around the card, twisting it, trying to twist it back and forth, different directions. Could not get it open. So I took the sharp edge of the scissor to the seam of the slab, and I still could not get any. And you saw I even tried to cut it, and I still could not get any breakage on this slab. So I was like, all right, let me try some more. Maybe this thing, I'm like, it's the whatever Burbank did must have been a very isolated incident, because this slab is incredibly difficult to get open. And it, like I said, it had those little blemishes, which, by the way, I love how puregradedx responded to the incident with Burbank. They immediately reached out and offered to fix the issue for free, including paying for shipping, which they should do, and I think that's the responsible thing to do. They also publicly addressed it on their channel immediately. I think that shows a lot of character. It shows a lot of backbone. They have a lot of pride, and they care about their customers. And so the communication is great. So when I couldn't get it with the scissors, I went to the needle nose pliers that have a little wire cutter there on the inside, that thick, and I squeezed down on it right there at that label. Definitely don't want to damage the card. And it cracked in that one spot, but that still did not break much open. I still could not get the card open. You'll see here that I'm still twisting it back and forth, and it's still very rigid. It is still very much sealed. I cannot get that seal apart from one side to the other. It's still very cracked, guys. So I'm still going at it. I got the needle nose pliers, and I'm thinking, how am I going to get this thing open without damaging the card? And puregradedx, even those little blemishes in the slab like you saw there, they absolutely volunteered to pay for my shipping to send it back. They were going to fix it for free, send it back for free. I finally got the thing cracked, and I'm like, oh boy, the way I had initially cracked it with those pliers left this awkward crack to where it almost bent the card in that top corner. So I'm like, all right, I better slow down, be very careful with what I'm doing, because I do not want to damage that card. So I'm like, if I break it away like this, and boom, the top finally came off. And I'm like, okay, just kind of play with the label, just kind of seeing what the label was like, and just kind of breaking it apart to see the construction of it. And clearly the construction of this slab was very different from the one they had. Now look, puregradedx is not they're a new company. They don't have many social media followers in the grand scheme of the hobby. So at card shows and on eBay, when you're looking at selling cards, flipping cards from an investment standpoint, it's hard to get other collectors and investors to view puregradedx slabs as adding value to a raw card, especially when they get blasted by a company like Cardporn. But even before that, they were still hard for most people to want to offer more than a raw card value for a pure graded X slab card. And that's just how the hobby is. They don't have the credibility of even an HGA. So it's like, a very steep uphill climb in terms of adding investment value and to be able to slab your cards with them and sell them for a profit. Now, if it's just a collection item, most people would agree that their labels do look really nice. And so from a personal collection standpoint, cards that you don't plan on selling, why not get them slabbed? Even if it is what the card father considered as a fancy holder, why not pay $12 per card to have it in a fancy holder with a cool label on it? It is protected. I can show you right here that their slabs are sealed up tight. That incident on Cardporn from Burbank Card Shop was an anomaly, was the exception, not the standard. And so their communication has been great. I'm not gonna cancel my affiliation with them, but absolutely wanted to talk about this and address the issue and just make you guys aware. In terms of investment value, it's not what I care. It's not what you care. It's what the buyer cares. When we're looking at selling cards, it's all about the buyer's perspective. It's all about the buyer's perception. And if the majority of buyers don't view that pure graded X, PGX, as adding monetary value to a raw card, then you're not going to be able to add value to it by grading them. Now, you will add personal collection value to the card, and I still feel that for $12, it's a very fair, reasonable, very good price to get cards graded and slabbed from them for your personal collection. Just have to lower your expectations for the investment side of things and stuff like that. That incident is certainly not going to help their case. Although I know that those guys are going to keep pushing forward. They're going to keep communicating promptly and clearly with people and fixing their mistakes and working to get better. This incident has made them a lot better. So I wouldn't lose faith in them now. Just understand, right? If you're looking to maximize the investment, the monetary value of your card, definitely want to just send it to PSA. Send it to PSA, send it to BGS, send it to SGC. I wouldn't even send it to HGA. There's a lot of people out there that don't even view HGA as adding monetary value to cards. I'm going to continue sending some personal collection items to them, but just having the expectation or the understanding that it's not going to be a card that I'm looking to flip for profit. And if it is, I'm not expecting to get 5x my value if I get a PGX 10. And that's just the truth, because the buyers out there in the marketplace do not perceive, even if it's, Revolution grading or transparent grading or the Grading Authority or any of these other startup grading companies, heck, even HGA, they're not able to add enough monetary value to people's raw cards like PSA, BGS, and SGC is to be a staple in the marketplace. And that's a big reason why a lot of people get cards slabbed, is to add monetary value to the card, to hopefully get that card to come back as a 10. So that way you can show a buyer that it's in pristine gem mint condition. Because I can't tell you how many raw cards that I bought that look great on eBay, but they have tiny little surface dimples or a tiny little scratch here or there, or tiny little edge imperfection that it's very difficult to see online, but you can see it in person when you get it up close, you get it under good lighting. So I'm in the middle of updating the entire leaderboard for the Card Quest Investor Championship. I've got rankings coming out, and these aren't rankings for players. These are rankings for card sets to target. And so we've got a lot of big things in the works for 2021. We've got everything we're doing here on YouTube. Plus, we're adding a ton of value through Patreon, with our Discord, with our giveaway, with our fantasy leagues, with our Card Quest Shark Tool web app that is almost done. I got to meet with Sean later this week to beta test it, with the weekly Auction Sniper article, plus the Backstage Pass. That's going to get you early access to my picks videos whenever I'm picking certain players to target. Yeah, hop in that, dude. There's a tremendous amount of value. The giveaway alone, you win the giveaway alone, you're getting $40, $50 worth of cards. If you win that, you'll get 7 entries into that monthly giveaway. Huge thank you and shout out to Derek Ramsey, David Hunter, Matthew Vescovi, Keno Moss, Sean Sharp, Field Level Elite member, Shelly Barnhart, Lenny, Filthy Collector, another Field Level Elite member, Luke Johnson, and HP. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your support, and very excited about the 2021 season, and can't wait to share with you more content. So subscribe, like the video. Like I said, I'll be back real soon with Card Quest Investor Championship update, and then I've got a video all about selling cards, like what you need to know right now about selling cards. I got a video about my ranks in terms of ranking the sets, the liquidity of sets. I think that'll be a valuable video. And then I'm going to do reviews. I got my smooth sleeves in. I've got another 6 packages right here. So we got a mail day coming. A lot of fun stuff in the works, guys. A lot of fun stuff in the works. And football starts in like a week and a half. So, boom. Peace. All right, here goes nothing. Andy here, recording late night on a Monday, and therefore we look to add ways to. It's late at night here. Yeah, sold a Sam Darnold PSA 8.5 over the weekend for $65. Just packaging that bad boy up in a little slab baggie, put it in its bubble mailer, get it on its way out the door. I've had people call me an effing idiot for not being able, when I first got in, knowing the difference between a base prism and a silver prism. But I learned, and I shared that learning experience with you guys, and I'm sure I was able to help a ton of people avoid that same mistake. Took the sharp edge of the scissor to the, can't call it a scissors because I have it open, and only one side of the scissors is a scissor. Anyway, I don't know if that makes sense, but.
All right, let's go for it. Cut that part off.